told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Asia gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, where today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 10. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me most of the time, I said, I need a podcast. Send me a podcaster. So Aysha Welch is here. Aysha, how's it going?
If they send you a podcaster, they'll get a podcast.
They'll get a podcast.
I'm doing well, Jason. It's been a minute. Oh my gosh.
It's been a while. Last time we were on, we didn't even know there's going to be a break. So
I know we couldn't prep the people.
Yeah, we couldn't warn you. If you're in the Facebook group, we warned the Facebook group after we found out. But we didn't know at the time. So we're sorry to have left you without any notice. But we are back after any break we get seems super long to me. Like we've only been gone 2 weeks. Feels like a couple months. It really does. Whenever we take a break.
It does every time. Like anytime, like even if we have a 1 week break, it feels like eternity.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, what season are we talking about?
Yeah, for real.
Look, before we start though, I want to do a little breathing exercise.
Yeah, we need it.
Okay, we need to just like inhale on 3. Inhale. All right. Release it. 2, 3, 4. All right.
Boy. Woo! Yeah, we might need that break because this one was a humdinger of an episode. It was big.
The way I had to just take a beat, say, this is a TV show.
Don't get too invested.
I don't know these people. I don't know them in the slightest. Do not allow whatever is stirring inside, this anger that is stirring inside of me, just release it. It's not worth it.
Do not enter Chicago in your GPS to see how long it will take you to drive there. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the jail time. We can't be doing this.
It's been a minute that someone had been able to just elicit this type of disdain.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about Thomas. That guy. Just constantly pulling hammies left and right.
Left and right. Sit down.
Sit down, man. You're too old for this. Yeah, but it took a lot for me not to buy a certain book and record me burning it just to put on social media,
Obviously we have a lot of opinions about this episode of a particular couple, but I just needed to get that out of the way up front because, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah. Listen, we saw the preview where, things get hostile. And it did not disappoint. It wasn't a fake out. It wasn't,
no
trick editing.
They said, look, we gave y'all the line. So we'll get into it. But first, make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, so we can get all of our podcasts for A Perfect Match, as well as we just covered Love is Blind season 6.
We just covered the ultimatum.
The ultimatum, well. Yeah. Happy New Year! Happy New Year, everyone! Happy New Year!
You leave for 2 weeks and you just forget where you are. You forget what the day is.
It was just
forget what you covered
eternity ago.
Yeah, it was literally. I feel like my mind has been wiped from the ultimatum people. I don't remember any of the people. It just is gone out of my head.
The only thing that's keeping them relevant for me, of course, is TikTok.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, We did just cover the Ultimatum season 3, so that coverage is on the Love at First Sight.
Oh, man. That was good. I like that.
Oh, but make sure you go leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate it when you do. We will shout you out. I have one to shout out this week from Bulls, and then quite a few numbers.
Yeah.
So Bulls 13.5 ... a bunch of numbers. It's titled "I Fell for Your Podcast at First Sight." So I absolutely love your podcast. You and Jason bring such a smart, mature, and respectful perspective to all the wild and dramatic situation these participants willingly dive into.
I love she's just talking to you.
I know.
Yeah. This is just for you, Asia.
You and Jason.
Yeah.
Your insights are thoughtful, engaging, and always on point. I guess you could say I fell for your podcast at first sight. I appreciate the personal review.
Yeah. Thank you
felt
so
like
much.
you were talking directly
I mean,
to me.
Your insights are the ones that are thoughtful, engaging, and always on point. I don't know how she feels about my insights because they're obviously talking about you, about your insights. So what they think about my insights is remain to be seen.
Look,
But
you're
I can
smart, mature. You bring such a smart and mature and respectful perspective.
Yes, exactly. I have that at least.
Yes.
I don't know about the insights, but I have that.
Right. And right now we are at 492 ratings.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we have? What could we do for the people to do, drive this up a little bit?
So yeah, we're going on a kind of a review drive, right? We want some more reviews. We're almost at 500. So we were thinking, what have we missed? Like, what could we offer the listeners to incentivize them to give us some reviews? So there was a show that came out around Christmas time. I think it was a little bit before Christmas time.
A little bit before,
yeah. Called Later Daters. When this show came out, we did hear from you guys and say, "Are you guys covering this? This is such a great show." So on and so forth and so forth. This I think is like mostly kind of like a senior citizen dating reality show,
produced by Michelle Obama.
Yeah, produced by Michelle Obama. So they got some bona fides there. So we figured, listen, if we can get the review number up to a certain level, we will cover Later Daters. We'll give one review podcast for Later Daters, talk about what we thought about all the couples, all the people. So we're at 492 right now. We're asking for 20 5-star reviews to talk about Later Daters. And we did not talk about this pre-show. But what's the time limit we're giving people? Do we want to say
let's say 2 weeks?
2 weeks. That sounds good. 20 reviews in 2 weeks. If we hit 512 reviews. Now these new 20 reviews all need to be 5 stars.
We know when they're not.
We can see. We know. We check. And listen, for those that have already left reviews, you leaving a new review is not going to help because it's just going to take the number away and bring it back. So that won't be counted as a new review. We appreciate all of you that already left reviews. We are looking for brand spanking new reviewers. Now, it's not to say that those of you that already left a review can't grab your spouse, your kid's cell phone and leave a new review under a new username. We'll definitely take that too. But yeah, we are looking for 20 brand spanking new 5-star reviews. If we get that within 2 weeks, we will bring you Later Daters. If you don't, you will never know what we thought about Later Daters and all these old people dating around. You will never find out. All right, so that's our challenge. That's our challenge to our viewers / listeners, is to get us 20 new Apple reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yep. All right. Also, make sure you go join our Facebook group. You can find us at A Perfect Match Podcast on Facebook, and you can join us in on the fun. We have conversations about the episode as they're happening, and then talk about other stuff.
We had some banging Christmas exclusives on Christmas this year. I revealed my holiday gifts that I gave to all the MAFS contestants.
Yeah.
Asia.
That was so creative.
Listen, I got the input of all family all around the Christmas tree to see what the Christmas gifts are. You'll find out if you join the Facebook group. You get to see the exclusive pepper and cinnamon Christmas photos. You can't miss that.
Yeah.
So come join. It's so much fun. We have a blast in there.
We really do. So you only need a little password to join, and this week the password is
Send in the clowns. Send in the clowns is the password. Because what's a good Facebook party without a few clowns? You know, what's a MAFS season if not for a few clowns? Listen, you all got Thomas and Camille. Okay, you're welcome. Take that. I'll take the rest of the drama and the nonsense. I love it. I eat it up. You got your one good couple. The rest are messes. We love that.
Jason suggested this password and he sung it, and I was like, I really do believe that that's before my time.
Oh boy. Technically it's before my time as well.
Okay.
But, I have heard it in different ways. But yes, Send in the Clowns is a Facebook password this week.
Okay. I'm like, we're both in our 30s. Like, I couldn't be that far off.
Oh boy.
So okay. We have an episode to discuss. We're here to talk about episode 10. And we have some couples to get through.
Yeah, let's get through Michelle and David real quick. Let's talk about them. And Aysha, listen, it's episode 10, big milestone. You couldn't have dressed any nicer for episode 10. I mean,
I'm in a comfortable
yeesh
hoodie. What do you want to see my UT shirt that I have on underneath?
Listen, I just thought,
look, this is my podcast sweatshirt, okay?
But it's episode 10. I mean, listen, I got my nice Tinky and Turtle shirt on. You could have done any better.
You know what happened? I was thinking, okay, I gotta walk over to my podcast studio. But then I was like, dang, do I have time to go back to my room to put on a different shirt? And I was like, too much traffic between
too much traffic.
Too much traffic between the stairs.
Wing, the east wing is so far. The podcasting wing is so far from the bedroom wing. You just had no time to go from one end of the mansion to the other. I get it. I got you.
Traffic was crazy. So I said, look, I cannot be late for podcasting with Jason. And so look, this is me cleaning up. What do you want from me?
I get it. It's a big episode. It's the 1 month anniversaries. It's always a banger. I just figured you'd come more correct than this. But okay, well, I'll take it. It's fine. You
don't like the sweatshirt.
It's fine. I just thought, that's what I always see.
Make you want to cuddle up.
You're always in a sweatshirt. I thought you just have maybe a blazer or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. David and Michelle. We start out with a diary cam from Michelle. She says, me and David, we're going to meet up for dinner for our anniversary. She makes sure to tell us he's at his parents' house. So we're going to meet there. When she said we're going to meet there, I literally thought they were meeting at his parents' house. I was like, oh, this should be interesting. But no, the there she meant was at the dinner. So I was like, oh, that's a little disappointing. But we do meet up at the dinner. She does tell us in her confessional, she really hoped they'd be further along at the 1 month than where they are. But it is what it is. Girl. Michelle, I wonder why we're not further along. Like, how can you say stuff like this when you know it's
out of her control?
She's nothing she could do. There's nothing she could do. So she shows up. David's already there, perusing the menu or whatever. In a confessional, he says he's doing this dinner to show her that he can give her the type of life she's looking for. They're at a nice restaurant. That's what she keeps saying she likes. She keeps talking about restaurants. I love going out to restaurants. He's like, so we're at a restaurant. We're having sushi. This is the type of stuff she likes. I want to show her that I can be that type of guy that is what she's looking for. And she comes in off the bat. She's like, why sushi? He's like, well, I know that you like sushi cut from the honeymoon. So I thought I'd show you that I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone and do stuff that, that you like. And then she's just like, so is this your big date outfit? Like the jeans and the sneakers and the hoodie and stuff? He's rightfully so immediately offended. He's like, oh, do you do you have a problem with this? Like,
because at first he's like, no.
Yeah, he's like,
because the way it sounded was like, oh, is this what you take all your date? This is what you wear when you go on all your dates?
Yeah.
Like, because how else are you supposed to receive this person saying, is this your big date outfit?
He's just like, I mean, not really. Like, I think he had to think about it. He's like, what should I like? No, it's not, but I didn't have time to get anything else. Like, I was at my parents' house, so I just grabbed something there or whatever. So like, yeah, I didn't have time to go change another outfit. It's like, he's like, do you have a problem with my outfit? She's like, no, I just thought, it's a big date. Maybe you would, change it up. Inconfessional, she's like, I thought he might wear a blazer and some slacks, not jeans and sneakers. I thought maybe he would level it up. I mean, first of all, like, do you think you are deserving of blazer and slacks right now? Like, do you think that's where we're at? Is blazer and slacks? Do you think that's the level of this relationship is? I don't know why Michelle is out here, like, really doing it up for the 1 month anniversary. Like, you don't want to be here. So what is
at all?
So
she
why
wanted him to come in his tux that he wore at the wedding.
It's like, why are you play acting like we're a normal couple on a 1 month anniversary? Like,
that's
you're lucky I didn't show up in pajamas. You're lucky I didn't show up in loungewear.
You lucky I showed up.
Right.
Because
for real.
What it is she wants to complain about everything about him. There, like, in her mind, she is so unattracted to him in every way that it's like she does not want to be looked at as the bad person. She doesn't want to be looked at as the one that's the reason that this does not work out. So she is at every chance trying to show why he is the cause. Oh, he didn't dress up. Oh, he lives with his parents. Oh, he used to smoke, even though he said he stopped. He used to smoke cigarettes. Oh, he was at the gym with Madison and didn't tell me, even though we're not talking. Oh, he offered sushi, even though he doesn't even like sushi. Like, she wants to blame. She's playing the blame game so much. That's who Juan should have been, later in the episode. That's who Juan should have been saying is blaming somebody. Yeah. But good Lord.
We'll talk about Juan.
But she just is looking for any reason to blame him for the failure of this marriage. And so it's just like, stop treating him like a punching bag.
And she also will take every opportunity to make sure that he knows that she thinks he is lesser than. Like, you're dressing in, street clothes, you're dressing in bum clothes. Can you not afford a good suit, David? Can you not afford a blazer and slacks? It's like, no, like, you are deserving of a hoodie and jeans. Like, that's what this relationship level is at. Okay, this is what you get. All right. Michelle, she thinks she belongs in a Sex in the City type of life. But she looks at David and, like, he's given, like, King of Queens. She's like, this David is not the life I imagined for myself. I'm looking for my Mr. Big, and this guy is Kevin Heffernan from King of Queens. Like, she just thinks she deserves so much better than this, like, blue collar common working man, and it really irks and annoys me. It really does.
I just can't see how she doesn't see how she's just making it worse by continuing to be involved in this, because it's like every interaction is such a just like, oh. And then the anytime they have like one positive interaction, it's like that's giving him the wrong signs, because he's like, okay, maybe there is something there. No.
Yeah.
She still is not into him in any capacity. He is not the one for her. She's not the one for him. Like, I want him to wake up and see that. I want him to be the one that's like, no, actually, I don't like you. But he's
Right.
he's giving her all this power to be the one. But, and like, obviously you can't blame him for wanting to try. Like, that's the whole point of the experiment. Like, you're supposed to be in this, but she's not. And she's just, it's so annoying.
And I do think part of it is that David doesn't want to look like he's giving up.
Right.
So he's saying all these things. I think deep down, David's like, well, I don't like you either, you stuck up prissy, whatever. But I think for the sake of the experiment, for the sake of the show, he's saying, yeah, I still want to try. I still want to do this. But I kind of think deep down, David has had more than enough. Yeah. So they're at the dinner.
Few people this episode who are at their break.
Very much so. So she asks him, do you think where we are where you thought we would be? Or did you think, he says, yeah, I thought we'd be in a better place. Like, be a little happier. He says, I'm just a little frustrated that I can't give you what you want. And she gets exasperated. She's like, oh my God, like, can you stop with that? Like, my happiness is in my control. You can't do anything about my happiness. You're setting yourself up for failure. I'm the only one that can make myself happy. He's like, so David is frustrated. He's like, so what makes you happy? Because I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I mean, I like to be around people that I love and things that make me happy, being in my comfort zone, like with my animals and doing things I like to do. And I said, Miss, you purposefully did not bring your animals because you felt like it wasn't a good thing. Like, so what? So what's the thing here? And David again is like, so what do you like to do? Like, give me something, because I have no idea what road to go down with you. I don't know what to do. In the middle of this, their food comes. We, for some reason, spend a good amount of time going over all the things they're getting ready to eat. I was like, is this a restaurant? Like,
is this about to fall on the floor or something?
Yeah,
like what?
It's like,
what plot twist is about to happen?
Yeah, the lady brings her food. She's like, I'm like, how is this food gonna be relevant later? Because it's gotta be setting up something. But no, just the waitress announcing what they have. I'm like, okay, cool. I know what you had for dinner.
Yeah.
So they're preparing to eat, and Michelle says, well, since you didn't ask me what I asked you, I don't think this is where we should be either. And Dave was just like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to literally come out and ask you the same question you asked me. I thought that it would just kind of flow naturally that you would give your opinion after I gave mine. Like, that's how most normal people talk. And she says, hold on. Let me do my breathing exercise real quick. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. She tells this man,
it doesn't work if you start speaking through the exhale.
I didn't give enough time. I had to say it. She says to this man, you don't ask me questions about myself. And ladies and gentlemen, flash back with me,
please,
if you will, to the honeymoon, where he asked her about her family. And she said, what business is it of yours? Why are you asking me this question? So come on back to the present with me. So then now she's saying, you don't ask me questions. So I wonder why he doesn't ask you questions. Because anytime he asks you, and he says this, anytime I ask you a question, you are extremely vague. You don't give any answers. You say one or two things and then you stop. And then she gets rather passive aggressive. She's like, okay, well, she doesn't zip her lip thing. She's like, I'll just zip my lip. She's like, he says, see, that's exactly what you do. You say one or two things and then you shut down. He's like, and that's why I don't ask you questions, because this is the thing I get every time I ask you anything. So he's like, so I don't know why I would have to ask you the same question when naturally you should go into that same question you have for yourselves.
And here's the thing.
That
issue of having to be the one to drive the conversation is a thing. Like, that is a common thing right now in this dating environment, where you go on a date and you're like, oh, so what do you do for a living? That person's like, oh yeah, like I'm a teacher. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then there's no like, okay, what, you in that situation, you expect the person to return the favor. But that is like this like lack of communication that is running rampant through, I guess, like young adults these days. But like you said, David has tried. You shut him down at every turn. That's not the issue here. She just brought this, like, she just like wanted to be mad about something and just threw that onto him. That is not a David issue. No. Like that's an issue she has probably had in past situations where she's gone on dates and stuff. That does not apply here. You shut him down when he tried to get to know you. Why would he keep asking you questions, especially questions everyone in the world knows the answer to? Did you think y'all would be here?
I think I get somebody not happy. Like, I don't think I need to ask the question.
Right.
I can assume. I don't know why you asked me that question. Like,
exactly.
This is
exactly where I thought we'd be. This is it. Right here, right in this unsure space where there's no romance. This is where I thought.
When I dreamed of my wife and my marriage, this is what I dreamed of.
This is the ideal situation.
A cold fish who gives me no emotion, who gives me no nothing.
Who hates everything I do, who hates everything I am. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted.
This is exactly what I asked the experts for, and I got exactly what I wanted.
He should have said, she's like, you don't ever ask me questions about myself. He should have said, well, you ask me dumb questions. So here we are.
I don't ask dumb questions. I'll do what you do. So I kept my comments, my questions to myself. Because I know how you feel about everything. You let me know at every moment that I'm not good enough for you, that this isn't what you want. So I don't need to ask that question. We're good.
Because you know what would have happened? Let's rewind it. And she doesn't ask. Let's say she doesn't ask. And he's like, so Michelle, is this where you thought we'd be at this point in our marriage? She would have been so offended. Like, she would have been, oh, why would you even ask me that? Yeah. Oh my God.
What do you think, David?
How dare you? Duh.
David, what do you think? What do you think, David? You think this is where I want it to be, David?
Answer that yourself. Answer it yourself, okay?
Why are you trying to set me up, David? Come on.
Like, be real. The only person she's kidding at this point is herself.
So yeah, he's like, listen, I don't. He's because they kind of go back and forth a little bit. She's getting real testy. He's getting as testy as David gets on camera in the moment. He's like, listen, like I don't want to go tit for tat. I don't want to do this ticky tack stuff. So like, let's just like, I don't want to do all that. And she says, oh, we're there, buddy. I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
She wants to fight with him so bad.
Yeah, she again asked if he's happy. He says, I'm very frustrated because I don't know what to do. I've been honest, respectful, I've been cordial, and I have no idea what you want.
She is pulling what the last dude we're going to talk about. She's pulling the same thing that he's pulling, where it's just like, this is frustrating David at this point. Why would you ask him, is he happy? Like, she's wanting him to be the one that's like, okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm done. She's going to be like, I wanted the best for this. Like, I really wanted this.
Stop hitting the bear with the stick. Okay? Stop doing it. That's what
or you're not going to see him anymore.
Yeah. She says, she doesn't feel good about any of this. She says there's no connection. And that is what's stopping everything moving forward. He says, I keep hearing the same things from you and I'm trying to be patient. He says, do you think there will ever be a connection? She says, well, I mean, I am trying, just for the record. I was like, okay. He tells her, listen, I need more from you because I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. Like he says about 3 times, like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now. You're gonna give me nothing to work off of. You give me nothing. So that was their eventful anniversary dinner. They come home from this dinner and, this is the anniversary week. So we're going to get baskets for everyone with these low budget Shutterfly photo books from their weddings, their vows framed, all this good stuff. So they come home. In confessional, Michelle says, dinner was really heavy, but she doesn't want it to ruin the night. She wants to make things more positive and have a good time. They get their wedding video on like some zip drive or something. So they watch the wedding video and, as it's going, it's so interesting because the Michelle that you see on this wedding video is just so positive, so bubbly. She's so energetic. She's so enigmatic. She's just like, and you can tell
it's full of life.
She likes David. She likes what she sees. You can tell that. Because we've done this enough to know when we see someone see something they don't like, we know it.
Yeah,
and she liked what she saw. She was good with what she saw.
It was because he was in a suit.
Yup, there you go. He was in a suit. She was happy in the whole lead up into the vow. She was happy. He's positive. It's such a contrast to what we get now, where she's so dour and so in the dumps all the time. In confessional, he says, watching this reminds me of where they started off from. And it's refreshing to hear her laugh on the video. And it is making him feel better to see where they started from. We do see in the vows. She says she will strive to see both sides of the story, even if it's hard. I said, now you're lying. We know you're lying. Because he's telling you about this living situation and you just won't believe him. You just won't see it. Nope. You just won't see his perspective at all. In confessional, David says, if we stuck to the vows that were in that video, we'd be fine. He says, it makes it even tougher to see where we are right now when I know that those are things that we promise each other. They do have like, the video ends and then Michelle just like, that was so great. Just like, it's crazy how downhill it went. And they both share like a little laugh, but just like, how did we get in this situation? Like, that's ridiculous. This is crazy. She's like, yeah, there was so much hope, and now there's a little
less hope.
Oh my gosh, like, okay,
a lot less, girl. Like, can you stop fooling? Like, that's why I can't even take the anger she has on the still to come at the end, because, girl.
Yeah, he tells her, listen, I don't want to bicker like we did at dinner. He apologizes and she returns the apology.
What did he have to apologize for?
I mean, he got a little testy, but I don't think it was unwarranted, right? Like, especially that it's not. Listen, it's not an Ikechi level of testy, okay?
Right.
That is unnecessary testiness. David got frustrated and he let that frustration get to him, but not in a big way. I think he was
still respectful of her.
Yes,
I think he handled it in a very, like, he's a human. And I think that he handled this in the best way that he could without being disrespectful to her.
He did not call her names. He was very forthright in what he was saying. He was just telling his truth. Was it with a little bit of like a raised attitude? Sure. But he didn't say anything out of pocket. But he feels like he needs to apologize. He feels like that he doesn't want to show anything bad on camera or anything. So he apologizes. He does that.
It's just because he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I think so. She returns it, the apology. She's like, yeah, I'm sorry too. He says, you both have things to work on. And she's like, oh, so what do you have to work on?
She said, we spent a lot of time talking about me.
he says, I guess I talk too much, according to you. And you say that I talk through you and over you. So I want to work on that. And make sure I ask you how things are going with you. So, that's what David needs to work on. We all know that this is just going down just a lane of dumpster fire. So you want to talk a little about the more to come that we saw from them?
So we did get to see her screaming at, I'm assuming it was another woman, because it would seem like the girls get together, where she was like, you're not, or what did she say? She said like, she's like,
you're the one that did the stuff or something.
You're the one that crossed that boundary or something like that. We also got a situation where she's talking to David and she doesn't believe him about something. So she does receive a text from David where David said, what did David say? I'm just saying.
Oh, I think you know. I think you know.
I think I stopped typing.
Oh yeah,
when she said the quote. So I have no clue.
I think I got a virus and it just knocked out that one line. So I think what this text was, you are so fine, I can't wait to eat you. Was the text message. And it's interesting because I think what the preview is trying to tell us is that it was sent to her, but I'm pretty sure that this is a wrong text. He didn't mean it for Michelle.
No. He didn't mean it for her at all. Like,
I think the preview, because this is in the good part of the preview, because we get the first part of the preview, which is all sunshine and rainbows, and then we get the music, and it's the bad stuff. So this is the first positive part. So I think the show was trying to make us think that David sent this to Michelle knowingly. But I think what happened is he missent this text to Michelle.
Right, because when you're going on your phone and you're trying to type Madison, sometimes you can type Michelle.
Yeah. So listen.
And whoops.
They're not beating the allegations of the David Madison stuff, because the M-A and the M-I, they're right next to each other. They're right there.
And sometimes you might just type the M. If it's right towards the top,
autofill,
and he don't have her favorited, if he does not have Madison favorited, easy mistake.
Autofill is a tricky mistress. Yeah. So listen, we think there's going to be some type of sex. There's definitely going to be a sexing scandal with David.
Yes.
and
Because
someone
there's
else.
zero way he sent that to
Yeah.
Michelle on
Yeah.
purpose.
So listen, this was a still to come. This was not a next time on. And I think where we got that is I think something misaligned here. I think this was supposed to be the episode we got before the break. Because if you remember before the season started, we got a premiere date from MAFS fan, and then it ended up being a week later. So I think originally that date was supposed to be the date, and this is supposed to be the episode we got the break on. Because usually we get a still to come before a break. So who knows what next episode is actually going to be about?
I'm just glad we don't have to wait.
Right.
Because it seems like that there, I feel like everything we saw in the still to come was not in anything that we saw earlier. So it feels
and
like
you know what that tells me?
What?
That tells me? I think it might. Some of that might be from Where Are They Now? Some of that is at like the very end of the season. Because to me, that means they didn't have that footage yet to splice into the season trailer. So I think I think some of that is a Where Are They Now thing. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I definitely think there's some retreat action going on somewhere because it looked like there were a lot of different areas. So I don't know.
It seemed like everywhere that Alan was a retreat.
Yes. But that was a very juicy still to come, and that it really, really excites for the rest of the season. So they did a good job with that trailer.
Yes.
Listen, we don't have to even. I know I don't have to even ask, but I assume we're both ones for Michelle.
Let's see. That's a tough one.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they've never been anything but a 1.
Yeah,
no, I gave them a 2.
Oh,
crap, episode 3.
Look at you. When you had some hope, when you had a glimmer, but that's
no. Yeah, but yeah, very easily a 1.
Yes.
Let's talk about Juan and Carla.
Yeah, let's do it.
Who they said y'all don't have anything going on this episode.
Why are y'all still here?
We didn't see them until like an hour into the episode. I said, did they secretly take off like the people in the ultimatum?
Rightfully so. Was they giving us nothing?
So we start out with Juan bringing Carla to his warehouse to kind of show her where he works. He's like, the back is where all the business happens. And we get a confessional from him saying, I think, since Carla wants to start her own thing, it'd be good for her to see other entrepreneurs. And I was like, here we go once again with him thinking she's his little trainee.
Juan, the business mentor. I mean, the husband to Carla.
Yeah, exactly. You are not her mentor. And so he tells her he's the managing partner. And so but he's also in control of bringing in customers. So we get a confessional with Carla, and the producer's like, all right, Carla, describe what Juan does. She's like, well, he does a lot. Like he overlooks the construction tools. I think he works really hard. Like he has his laptop and he types like Thriller. He connects the GCs. He skateboards. He just has so many strengths.
Yeah, I feel like this is what I would say if anyone asked me. So, what does your co-host Aysha do for work? I'd say, she does a lot of stuff on the computer that I know. Has something to do with HR stuff. That's pretty much all I got.
There we go.
She does a lot of stuff on the internet. Yeah, she needs the internet. That's a big part of her job.
HR technology.
Boom. That's all you need to know. What else, guys? What else is there to be said? What I got from Juan's tour is that he does a lot of woodworking. He does a lot. I don't know what. It seems like they do displays for businesses, something like that. And let me tell you, that warehouse we got sent to is just as cluttered and scattered and nonsensical as Juan's apartment is, because it was just like random stuff strewn about. There was one gentleman in a suit, and there was another gentleman in like t-shirt and shorts. I'm like, what are we doing here? What is going on in this place?
No one tell Michelle.
Yeah, no one tell Michelle, please. So I also have no idea what actually happens in Juan's company.
It looks like it's one big conglomerate of.
It's a mishmash.
Yeah.
The mishmash of stuff.
Yeah, and Carla had more time with him with the explanation, and also has no idea.
No.
So she tells him, "Oh, I have some exciting news to share." And he's like, "Oh gosh, like I'm a little nervous." She's like, "Well, I left my job today, so I'm no longer working at the salon." She said it was obvious I can't be managed. And he's like,
Really?
what, how did it go? And she was like, well, it was mutual. So did they
Right.
fire her or did she quit?
Sure, mutual, right.
Yeah, because no one's saying, like, she's not walking in and saying, look, I'm done here. And they're like, you know what? You should be done.
We thought the same thing. We were just gonna tell you that.
We were literally seconds away from approaching
It's crazy
you.
how here we are with it. That we both
Right.
think that you should not be working here anymore.
More so, hey, Carla, we just don't think we're a good match. And she's like, I was thinking the same thing.
Exact
You know
thing.
what? This is the universe telling me.
I was pulling tarot cards this morning, and I got the card of the unemployed hairstylist. So this is just kismet. Oh my god! Like, it's the universe talking.
Absolutely. So he's like, okay, so like she felt like being at the salon was sucking out her creativity, and so Juan's like, okay, so what's your plan? She's like, look, I have good work ethic. And then that's when we get Juan saying, you can be crazy, but you shouldn't be stupid.
In a confessional. He didn't say
in
it
his
to her
confessional.
face.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's when we finally got that quote in the confessional.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said she's excited for bigger and better things to come about, but Juan is a little bit scared for the future.
He should be.
For their 1 month, Juan does set up a picnic. He's in a confessional. He's telling us he is still scared or concerned about her quitting her job. At this picnic, they look through their pictures from the wedding. She said, and then they start like reflecting on the honeymoon, and she's like, oh yeah, the honeymoon was really eventful, like you with your prison bag. So we flash back to the time she locked him out of their room.
I'm not sure if that should be offensive or not. Like, your prison bag. I'm like, okay, I mean,
right.
Sure, you have those in prison for your belongings, but I don't think you should be calling attention to it.
Right.
It just seems weird. I don't know why.
Right. And so then she's like, she tells him like, oh, I would love like every morning to start out with coffee. And he was like, well, now we can, since you don't have a job anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And so she does say she still will be going to some of her clients' houses. She's going to take some time to like really learn her tarot cards. And he's like, you could do that as a business. She's like, yeah, I guess I could.
She's like, it's more for myself though. She's like,
right?
I do like. She's like, I like to go to coffee shops and read. Like,
yeah,
like yes, but how are you paying your bills? Like,
right.
that's what Juan wants to know.
Like,
and that's what girls want to know too.
You are paying my bills.
Yeah, hubby, that's what you're here for.
She does say like learning how to read her tarot cards is going to tie into her sound healing. And he's like, oh, so like are you going to New York soon? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to New York to do hair. And he's like, is this lady serious? Like, no BS. She's like, well, like, okay, this lady, she opened up a showroom in New York. And like, she asked me to come do hair. And he's like, was this via text or via phone call? She's like, oh, it was via phone call. He's like, have y'all talked rates? Like, have y'all talked about dates? She's like, well, no, we haven't talked about rates. We haven't talked about dates.
Juan has all the questions. He is so skeptical of this. He's like, this sounds like a trick. This sounds like a trap.
As he should be once she said no for rates and dates. You don't know how much you're going to get paid for flying out to New York from Chicago. You don't know when you're doing it.
But it's something that probably just came across her desk. Like, this isn't like... You know, I feel like Carla,
Jason, she quit her job.
It flew across her tarot card table or whatever you want to call it. It just seems like this is, I don't know. Carla seems like a type that would ask these questions like the day before. Like, hey, so I was just wondering, like, how much you're gonna pay me? just curious. But it just, she's not being the allegations of like being an unserious person. Like, you just seem unserious because you don't know. You have no plans for the future. You have no plans for paying your, like, how does this woman pay her bills? Because you can't be this nonchalant and not be worried about bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have to pay rent right now because she's living in the Married at First Sight house. So
right.
That right there is probably a reason for her to be like, I'll figure it out later. Yeah.
She's like, I'm making it just fine now.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Take it month by month. we get a confessional from him saying he wants to make sure she's as serious as she says she is about this stuff. And he does tell her, he's like, you should reach out to all your clients, like make house calls to all of them. And she's like, that's done. So
this literally turned into a business planning session.
yes,
there was no talk about their relationship, about their marriage, about their future. There was
what
nothing.
marriage?
There's nothing in there. He's like, I'm really interested to see how this works out for you. I won't be there, but I'm interested to see what your future's going to be like without me in it, because I'm gone. Because, and listen, folks, this is it for the Juan and Carla segment.
That's it.
This is it. What is going on with these two? Where are they in the relationship? There's nothing here about their relationship. About, are we getting better intimacy? Are we getting better affection? Nothing. There's no talk of it. And I feel like there's no talk because neither of them are talking about it. Because both of them, I think, have just accepted the fact that this is not going to go anywhere. At the end of the 8 weeks, we're both going to say no, and we're going to go our separate ways, and we'll be done.
Yeah. It's as if they have mutually agreed. Like they whispered to each other one night, this is not happening. Let's just ride this out, please. And like you said, I don't even think it's just a loose understanding. I think they have explicitly agreed. We're just gonna end the experiment. We can avoid it as much as possible. Trying to talk about, we're just trying to like get to know each other, whatever. Because neither one is really hurt about this not being where they want it to be.
Yeah,
I thought with the way that the Dr. Pia conversation went last episode or the one before, where Juan's like, oh, I'm just not attracted to her. I thought Carla would be more so in a position of like, okay, how can we meet on the same page if that's how you're feeling?
Yeah,
she doesn't seem to care all too much.
And when I think about the still to come, there's just not much there for them in the still to come. There was Dr. P was having a conversation with someone, I don't know who it is, about lying about some intimate relationship, and then it flashes to Juan being emotional, getting up and having to leave. So they want to make us think that's a Dr. P conversation with Juan, but I don't know if that's the case. Tricky editing or whatnot.
Very tricky editing, because it's not like we see the back of Juan's head when she's like about this intimate sexual relationship.
Yeah, so someone's lying about an intimate sexual relationship or something, and then it flashes to.
But he does get up in an emotional way, so that could be any.
It could be anything else.
Yeah, that could be.
That's really the only content we got for them for the still to come. So it just tells me there's just not really going to be anything happening with this relationship. And
we got one little quote of her saying she's grateful to have Juan in her life as her business mentor.
That's typical. That's typical MAFS jargon. Like that's just the boilerplate thing they make them say every get together. Like I'm so grateful for you. I'm so happy that you're in my life. Like, okay, we get it. It's in the script.
Right. So let's rate them.
So how long have we been where was I last time?
We were at 2s. We've been at 2s.
Oh yeah, it's long overdue now. Let's put them in that one basement. They're in the one club.
They are just there's no hope here. We are 1 month in, and they don't know each other that well. We just got that conversation where she was asking him about his family and opening up about herself. That seemed like a checklist item. Mm-hmm. There's no chemistry.
None.
There's just like, he clearly looks down on her career-wise.
And I cannot read Juan. I don't know what Juan wants. I don't know why Juan is here.
Yeah.
It's very confusing. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are, what makes you tick. You're just here.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating and annoying.
Yes, it is. There's no point. This is just like I don't know how to.
They're dead space on this season.
They really are. I think that's why they got 2 scenes.
Yeah,
because they're like, there literally is nothing there. I would prefer. I get wanting to continue in the show. Mm-hmm. I once wanted to continue.
Oh, Aysha. Are we about to have a therapy session right now in the middle of this podcast?
But I would prefer that they just bow out.
Tell me how the Red Tribe made you feel. on that fateful night.
I would prefer for them to say, see ya, catch you on after party, than to
Yeah.
waste our time
I
during
would
the Tuesday night episode.
I would prefer a couple with conflict. I would prefer any of our other four couples that have story, that have things they're talking about, rather than Carla and Juan talking about her job prospects. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I really don't. So they're taking up air, and it's annoying.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Who are we talking about next?
We're getting a palate cleanser. We're talking about Camille and Thomas, our
Whew.
one shining bright star of the season. So we get like a nice diary cam from them. They are just cuddled up in bed,
So
talking
cuddly.
about how great it's been, how much time has flied, and how how much they appreciate each other. Thomas is like cuddled up on her, like in bed, no shirt on. I'm like, see, this is what we're looking for. This is what
This is a
success looks
couple.
like. This is them. That's them right there. So we start out their main thrust of the episode. Camille is at a basketball court. She's shooting hoops by herself. She tells us, Thomas is actually running late. We're supposed to meet here. We're supposed to come here together. But then he called me and told me he'd meet me here, but now he's late. He says something came up. She literally calls him. He's like, yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry, you do it. Sorry, something came up.
Hey, sorry, something came up. I'm not going to be able to be there on time, but I'm on my way.
I'm on my way. In confessional, she says she's pretty miffed that he's late. Like, he's a grown ass man and he should be able to meet somewhere.
I said,
on time.
dang, Camille.
She's a drill sergeant.
Wrong.
She turned to a drill sergeant this episode. Like, we can see where her fun times in bed, or where what role she's in.
I'm sorry, was it not obvious? Like, I think Thomas has shown a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
He is not good at throwing off when he is about to do something for her.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, the honeymoon, when he's like,
wait right here. I have to use the bathroom.
And then he goes and does these rose petals.
Yeah.
I was like, this is typical Thomas. I was like, he's doing something for the 1 month. I thought that was so obvious.
Yeah, but Camille says he's a grown ass man. He should be able to be somewhere on time. When he says he's supposed to be somewhere, he should be there. And it makes me feel like I'm not the priority. He shows up and she gives him the lecture. She says, listen, my coach used to say, if you're early, you're on time. And if you're on time, you're late. And she punishes him by making him run suicides across the court. And immediately Thomas pulls a hammy. Like, literally within 5 seconds of him running, he pulls a hamstring. And she's like, "Oh, like sorry, I didn't mean to make you do that."
She said, go ahead, run it through the baseline.
Yeah, sorry,
and then you're done.
Like, I did not expect your body to be this broken down. I'm sorry. I know you're 10 years older than me, but Dad, I didn't think you'd be that bad of shape. You look like you work out. I didn't know you'd be in such bad shape.
Then proceeds to just be injured the entire time they're playing, waddling around, nurturing that hammy.
Camille does not care. She takes this man to school, pulled hammy and all. She is shooting all around him. She is getting dumping buckets on him. He has to sit there and kind of take it. He literally tries to steal the ball from her, like hobbles over and tries to steal the ball from her. Like, it's a sad, pathetic display.
Honestly.
So yeah, they sit. He literally, like, he tries for the ball. He, like, literally crashes into a wall, and she's like, "Okay, I think it's time we end this. This is not going well." So they take their break. They sit down. She says, "So what happened? Why were you late?" He says, I do have a good excuse. All will become clear later." So obviously, this is about
people come clear in due time.
In due time. But he does assure her that she is important to him, and he knows that she is the priority. And in confession, he's like, I see a little bit more of the vicious side to Camille than I've ever seen before. They have a conversation about her and about basketball, about her dad, and her dad was a huge supporter of her basketball career in school. He would come to see her, even if it meant taking a 4-hour drive. She really looks up to her dad, and that's the type of man that she wants in her life, someone that makes her feel loved and supported. And she just talks about how let down she feels that Thomas was late. And again, he assures her it's not going to happen again. And he will try to make it up to her, however he can. So we go to the. I guess we go to the. Like, did we mix up segments? Was it like, did we pull from the from the childhood, going back to your childhood segment that's in a future episode, just plop it in here? Because that's what that felt like. Now we're going to the official anniversary segment,
Right.
I guess. We're doing a cocktail making / tasting session. They each learn how to make cocktails and make cocktails for each other. And they sit
like
down.
cut it a whole episode from like the hometown. They said nobody's worth it but Camille and Thomas.
Yeah, for real.
So we just that episode did y'all filmed, in 10 days from now?
Yeah.
We're actually gonna put that in episode 10.
Yeah, that's how advanced Thomas and Camille are.
Yeah.
We're doing things ahead of time. So they sit down at the cocktail place after they make all their cocktails and stuff. They have a conversation. She tells him this is one of the first healthy relationships that she's ever been in. I'm like, damn, like really? Like, I think that's very interesting. I would love to find out like what some of these relationships were like with Camille, because Camille just seems so mature. She seems so smart. I just don't. I would be interested to know.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, yes, but how is Camille getting herself into these situations? Like, why
she
is her
was going? She had the wrong type. Look at her. She was trying to get her type. That was her issue. And she said, "Wait a second, maybe I've been going for the wrong type."
She the
Thomas
experts
is my type.
She the experts. He tells her like, yeah, this is great for me too. Like, he didn't know that he would be in this position where every day feels like an adventure. It's been so great. She asks him where he sees himself in 5 years. She basically talks about, being more in his career, making more money. And he says, in 5 years, I hope to have at least one kid. So he's like, basically career success and family is what I'm looking for. She talks about how she wants to be self-employed in real estate. She wants more job freedom. She has more aspirations than, just working for someone else. She wants to work for herself. Tom is very impressed by all of her aspirations. He says, at your age, when I was your age 10 years ago, that wasn't the mindset that I had for my careers and goals. I'm like, I mean, Camille's 32. Like, you weren't. Like, you're a little bit of a knucklehead.
I was still young and clubbing every weekend.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a knucklehead. We can tell. She talks about how how she doesn't want to be working until she's 65, popping hammies and running into walls like some people. Oh, burn for Tom. So we do a anniversary gift exchange. She got him one of those molds where you can put your hand inside the clay. It will firm up and make a sculpture out of your hands. I've actually toyed around with getting that for me and my wife for several different occasions. Never have.
Now you should.
Now
Valentine's Day is coming up.
Now she'll say, I only got it because I saw it on the show. It's a whole thing. But that's what she got him. He got her a necklace that it's red. He says, because I really liked you when you wore that red on the honeymoon. So I thought this would be a good idea. He says, it also has your birdstone in it. And he says, this is why I was late to basketball. I'm like, sure.
Just so we're clear.
It's like, sure, Thomas, that's why you were late to basketball. Nice excuse. Whatever. You were out clubbing with your boys. You were doing a fantasy football draft or something, and you're using this as your excuse. So he's like, I was supposed to be in Chicago, but it was all the way out in the suburbs, so I had to go all the way out there. Like, you explain too much. You explain too much. That means you're lying. Okay, you're explaining too much. So she's like, oh, that's so sweet. I didn't know that. So yeah, she's like, oh, you're forgiven then. In a confessional, she says it's crazy to think about where they were a month ago to now, and she feels so lucky to match with Thomas, especially when you see what else is out there in the field.
You dodged.
She's been messing with some Ikes. Okay, she has been messing with some AKGs. That's what she just talked about. That's what she's looking at. So she knows she can see Akechi, as we will talk about later. She sees this man for what he is.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's got Thomas. She ain't worry about running into no more Ikes. Okay. So that's Camille and Thomas. I mean, listen, what else can you give them but a sterling 5? No real drama in the still to come. Like, they really, really, really try to fake us out with
0. Yeah.
They're trying. He talks about he wants someone that's attracted to him. She says she said something about going like taking her foot off the gas. I'm like, you're not getting me. They talk about the past. You're not fooling. I've done
Yeah.
this
Let's
too long.
reflect on early in y'all's relationship when you first
Yeah,
met.
exactly. It looks like they may even be on the decision day couch. They're both dressed up
Right. Yeah,
rather
they're
well.
just really nice.
Yeah, so you're not fooling us. Like we've done this way too long to be fooled by this flimsy edit you're trying to give us. So obviously it's a 5 for me. I assume a 5 for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are our golden couple this season. No one is even coming close.
No,
They
not at all.
They are by far, we could literally, well, no, that wouldn't be that interesting. But I was saying we could literally only follow them for the rest of the time. Everyone else
that would
needs
be
to
boring.
call it. I know, yeah. I agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
But there just has to be a middle ground between the frustration that Michelle and Ikechi cause me.
We need some 3s around here. Give us some
Right.
hope. Give us something to work towards. I mean, damn, we have a 5 and 4 1s. How is that a good season, y'all? Listen, it's a good season. I'm enjoying the season, but I'm just saying, give me some 3s up in here. Give me a nice 4 with some room to work to 5. Like, come on, the 5 and 4 1s. Yes, come on, give me some hope for somebody. There ain't no hope.
Getting ridiculous.
It is. It really is.
I'm just like, they pull up a picture of Alan and Madison. Ugh.
Oh God, here we go.
Him and Ikechi.
These two.
It's always the sad music.
the sad diary cam music coming in. Like, oh shit, here we go. What now?
Oh God, David and Michelle.
What done happened now? God dang it.
Juan and Carla. Well, here's some filler.
When you hear the sad music, you better not show me Thomas and Camille. You better not. It better not be Thomas. It could be anyone else but Thomas and Camille, and it would fit. The like literally when they right before MM Diary came, I was like, oh no, here we go, because the music starts like do do do. I was like, oh, here comes a downer. What did happen now?
Let me readjust on this couch because I'm really have to take some notes.
Let me get my popcorn.
Right. Oh gosh. Well,
right, where are we going next?
Yeah, we got our one all-star couple out of the way. We're about to, here's the music. Let's go to a couple that want to act like they're trying. And Alan's like, well, one person is acting like they're trying. The other is actually trying and is frustrated.
To no avail.
Yes.
Poor Alan. Bless your heart, Alan. Bless your heart. You are trying, and this woman is just not giving you the time. Not even like time of day.
It reminds me, and you're probably gonna make fun of me for this. It reminds me of my dreams I have where I'm like trying to raise my arms and can't. And it's like I want to, but I just can't. That's Alan trying to get this relationship off the ground.
Love the metaphor. First of all, you're trying to raise your arms, but you just can't.
In a dream, I'm like, what is happening? Like I can't. Like in my mind is like raise your arms, right? Like you want to like move or something, and I just can't. And I feel like wait. There's probably a
somebody out there look that up. We know there's a dream interpreter out there somewhere. Carla, if you're listening to this, look at your tarot cards, whatever you do. I don't know what that has anything to do with it, but someone give me the interpretation of that dream because that's got to be something interesting.
Yeah, I dream a lot, and I dream very vividly. Yeah, it's kind of wild. Like, yeah,
I have a bad time remembering any of my dreams. Like I know I dream, but I always forget them. Like, within 2 minutes of waking up, I'm like, wait a minute, I know I had a dream. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, no, like I dreamt the night before the third immunity. I dreamt that I got voted out.
Ooh, folks, she's a fortune teller.
It's kind of crazy. It's actually insane.
Well, then I don't know why you're surprised. So surprised when it happened.
It's like, well, I knew. I wasn't. I was like, I dreamt this.
You look pretty surprised.
No, we're not getting into that.
We're not doing that here. That's post show talk.
This is not the.
This It's not your
the
deep dive.
the environment. Yeah. Let's talk about Madison and Alan. That's who we should be talking about. Let's see. So Madison and Alan, not Michelle and
She didn't even take no
David.
notes on that, folks. She didn't
Right.
take
I'm
no
like,
notes
did
now.
I? No, it's because they covered them so much first. Okay, so this was a diary camera, or like not a diary camera, like a
Couples cam.
couples cam or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Alan said, like, oh yeah, I had a couple of nice dreams that popped up that may have represented where we could be.
Oh man, Alan Alan really needs to just not he needs to knock one out because Alan is just he cannot stop with the suggestive jokes. I can see where Madison can be frustrated with the amount of
Because yeah, this is just what they're showing us.
right, and it's
And how
every segment.
much.
Yeah, it's every segment. Alan makes some kind of off-color joke, and that's just not everyone's style of humor.
Right.
And I think you gotta kind of dial it back, Alan, because I can definitely understand that part where Madison's coming from because it's just not like it's not cool when every other word out of your mouth is a sex joke,
Especially when y'all aren't there.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
So they get interrupted because Luffy is digging out Madison's underwear from the dirty clothes.
I am really surprised that because I could almost put the words in Alan's mouth and be like father, like son. Like I was all like I was waiting for it. He didn't do it, but I was waiting for it. I was like, does it say something I am on Alan's wavelength of making? Maybe not a good thing.
Yeah. So Luffy is running that house, honestly. The amount of scenes that get interrupted by Luffy.
You can come teach a thing or two, I'm sure. You can come. You can whip Luffy into shape within a week.
Yeah. Pepper and Cinnamon may they may be a little out of control when someone enters my house for the first time. Give them 10 minutes. Then they are smooth selling. They're peaceful little angels.
Aysha come out. Luffy, we are not doing this.
Right.
Not how we're acting.
Right. Oh. So they did get their gift from the experts. They got some champagne. Apparently they got a cookie because Luffy stole it from the basket, and Madison was like, "Well, okay, well, Luffy ate it." So they're looking at their pictures, and Alan's like, "Yeah, at some point we should reenact that." Because they were kissing.
Yeah. And he is constantly complimenting her because let's not forget when they had the Pia visit, she was talking about the fact that he doesn't compliment her, he doesn't say nice things about her. So he's making sure to really put it in there. Like they turn every page like, oh man, you look so good here. Like you're so beautiful,
radiant,
gorgeous,
captivating smile.
Yeah, like he's making sure to compliment her. She's just like, yeah. Like she's not giving anything in return, really.
She's like, thank you. Oh,
it's so nice.
Yeah. He said, like, oh, I just couldn't get that smile off my face the whole night. He's like, I'm so happy you're my wife. She's like, yeah, it's surreal because it seems like yesterday, but it also seems like so long ago.
It's been so long. You've been doing this for a long time. It feels like I've been doing this for 5 years. It feels like torture.
Right. It's so funny that was the best she could come up with. She couldn't say, "Oh, you look so handsome that night," or "Oh my gosh, I remember how like happy I was around you." She's like, "Oh, well, sometimes things go left, but sometimes things go right."
Yeah, this is not the right way. Let's just say that.
Right. And so he was like, "So do these pictures spark anything for you?" Basically saying, do you want to give me a compliment? Or does this make you happy at all?
Does this make you seeing all these kissing pictures? Does that inspire you to anything? Maybe with your lips to do something on my lips? I don't know.
Right.
Oh, Alan, don't ask questions you don't want answers to, my boy. Don't do it.
She's like, well, I do see why I felt the way that I did on the wedding day.
She says, but then I got to know you. It's like,
she's like, but I didn't know anything about you.
Meaning to say, after I learned who you were, your personality, I didn't want to kiss you anymore. I didn't feel the way towards you once I got to know you. Oh,
I was
Ouch.
so happy that day when I walked in. I see my smile. I was just thrilled. I was over the moon. I was ecstatic. And then I got to know you.
And then you opened your mouth.
And now, ugh.
Now I cringe when I'm near you. Now it's so hard to just be in your vicinity.
Now I'm
Dagger to
like,
the
happiness. Who
heart.
is she?
Oh, just dagger to the heart, man. I feel so
so bad for him.
So bad. Because that was such a just like a shot. Like Madison's great at giving out insults in a nice sounding tone. Like so good at that.
So she says it's like, but I didn't know anything about you. He's like, okay, well, what are the biggest roadblocks? And she's like, do you really want to talk about this on our 1 month anniversary? He's like, okay, that's fair.
Like, do you really want me to break your heart on camera here in front of everyone? Like, is that really the route you want to go? I don't think you do. Like, let me tell you, you don't.
I swear, it's like she's doing what Michelle thinks she's doing.
For sure. Madison is one of the best we've ever seen at
stringing along,
at playing this off, and trying to get through it in the nicest way as possible without having to be physical with someone. She's one of the best to do it. I'll give that to Madison. She's one of the best to actually look like she's putting an effort without putting an effort.
Right.
She, like wow, chef's kiss. She's doing it right. She's doing it great.
Yes. Absolutely. She is like giving him just enough that he has an ounce of hope.
Yeah, but I feel like Alan is looking for that ounce of hope anywhere. Anything he sees is an ounce of hope. I feel like she's not really leading him on per se, but I think Alan wants it so bad that he's letting himself be led astray.
Yes. Yeah, she's definitely not giving him more than what it is. Like she's not over promising or anything. She said, I have figured out. If she was like this diabolical genius, she's like, I've figured out exactly how to get what I want by not having to be physical or do anything romantic with this man, but still have him be nice to me.
She's like, I'm right in that pocket. I'm right in that sweet spot of like,
figured it out.
I'm not lying, but I'm not being super honest either. Because if I was being super honest, I'd tell this man, there is no way in hell we will ever be romantic. There is no way in hell that you will be my husband after this 8 weeks. That would be being like super blunt and honest. She's in that mid zone of like, well, anything can happen, I guess. You never know. But I'm not ready to be romantic or kissing. Like I'm just not there yet. But you just never know, Alan. You never know. Like anything can happen, but it's not. Like the secret is like it's not gonna happen though. Like she already knows it. And he should know it, but he doesn't know it because he doesn't want to know it. He doesn't want to let himself go there. He still thinks there's some modicum of hope, and there's not, my man. Like just let it go.
Just let it go. And on that note, we get a confessional from him saying he's never met someone he couldn't read as much as he can't read her. He's like, he even tries to give her like kisses goodbye or good night, but he gets nervous at even the thought of it.
Yeah, he can't do it because he I think he knows he's gonna get struck down.
Yeah. So she tells him like, yeah, we marry strangers, we're still getting to know each other every day. And he's like, there is a reason that we are together. she grabs the champagne, pops it open, it spills everywhere on the couch. Luffy comes in out of nowhere trying to lick the champagne. And we're getting a Love is Blind season 1 with a dog drinking alcohol again.
That old trope.
Right. The old dog drinking alcohol. They go play tennis. So we're getting a couple of sports this episode. We got basketball. Now we're getting tennis. We got some boxing later. Okay. So she says that was a joke.
I was like, we did? I literally was racking my brain of like, did
we? A bear fight.
Oh, okay.
Man, that went, yeah.
That went, zoop.
You said
right
joke
over that
where.
Yeah.
So Madison's like, okay, if I win, you have to take a lap around this thing, squawking like a chicken and shouting, "Madison is the champion." Like two buddies would do,
Yeah.
And he's
Sure.
like, if I win, I want a kiss.
Look on her face is like, oh shit. Like, why did I start this? Like, oh my God.
And he said, I have the mouthwash in the car.
Oh, poor Alan.
So they play, he wins. And so she's like, you didn't give specifics on the bet. And she gives him a cheek for him to give her a kiss on the cheek.
That should have been done. That should have been done right there. Alan should have been like, you know what? I'm just going to leave because this is just, you obviously don't want this. Like,
on that note, yeah,
you obviously just don't want to kiss me. You don't want to be around me. Like, this is like,
you hate me.
Yeah, this is the hot girl needing the nerd in high school for his answers and trying to just put him off as much as she can, like, because she knows he wants her, but she still needs him to tutor her in algebra. So she's trying to just keep at arm's length, like, I'll give you a kiss on the cheek, bruh. Dude, no, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It is a wrap.
It's done. When you're flat out refusing, you just kiss me on the mouth. I'm not asking for a tongue.
And you've already done it before.
I've done it 1,000 times on the wedding day. And you are that icked out that you just cannot bring yourself to kiss me on the lips right now.
Because she would be cheating on David.
That's what oh my God, Aysha, I was just about to say that. I was like, I just wonder if her and David are so far into whatever relationship this is that she doesn't feel right about kissing Alan because she been kissing David. Like,
it has to be it. And I can't I'm just imagining a scenario where we're just completely wrong.
Completely wrong.
And Madison and David are not together.
Completely.
But it's just like now that I've stuck that in my head,
all
evidence leads to that.
Can't say anything else. Can't do it.
And
it was so funny, like, to talk about the Still to Come. We saw very, very little Madison content on Still to Come.
Yes.
So I'm really wondering if this whole David Madison thing comes out and Madison just leaves the show. Like, we just don't see Madison anymore after this whole scandal comes out. Like, we only see, like, David's willing to come take his licks, but Madison is just like, nope, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I don't want to. Yeah. Because we've seen Madison be very, like, careful with her on-camera persona, and I feel like if this thing gets blown open, I think she just leave the show. She just be like, find me, do whatever you want. I'm not going on camera saying I cheated on someone. I'm just not doing that. I'm just wondering if that's it, because we saw very little content from her on the Still to Come preview. So I'm just wondering if that's part of this.
I don't know, because I wonder if like all the content they have from her are just in the context of David. Like if they showed her any scenes with her, it's like with him, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, but they're cut masters though. They can make anything look like anything else. They can make it look
I mean, because they show obviously we see Michelle mad, but they also show Carla saying, I just can't be, around. I can't have someone in my life who would do someone like that or something like that, which is like further validating. She just cannot be friends with Madison because of what Madison did.
I can't wait to be totally wrong about all of this. And it's just we've just made this whole big story up, which is what they wanted. Like, so we'll see. It's part of the fun of this is saying how right or wrong we will be.
It's fan fiction at this point. But I'm sorry. Everything is just like supporting this.
For sure. And listen, that's their job, right? That's their job to lead us to something.
Yes.
And so we'll see. We will see.
So they do another date where they're doing like tree climbing, or they're doing, I think they called it aerial tree climbing. I've actually done this before.
Shocker.
A couple times. My brother did it twice for his birthday, and it was called like Go Ape, and it was up in Dallas.
Not a sponsor of this podcast.
Right. I need to stop shouting out stuff. And so basically, you clip yourself in, you go through this whole ropes course, and it takes like over an hour. It's really fun. So, but this leads me back to, I don't know if I mentioned this on an earlier podcast because I saw it on TikTok, but it's the thing about dating, this is the thing, is you need to do activities. You can't do a fun activity and think that's an indicator of how you feel about that person. Because she's thinking, oh, I just had so much fun doing this. That must mean I have fun with Alan. No, you had a great time doing this treetop adventure. But that's not a reflection of Alan by any means.
She's probably thinking, you know what? I should bring David here. He would enjoy
Yeah.
this.
David would have loved this. You know the only thing Alan's like, what would have made this better? If David was here.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, if all the other couples were here.
Yeah. Everyone, I guess, including David, I guess. He can come
Right.
if we have to.
I was wondering, I was like, how bummed do you think Madison was that David wasn't at the dinner later?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, she got all dressed up. I was like,
do you know if David will be here? Just asking for no reason.
Right. Okay, so they do this treetop adventure. He said he brought a bag with Tarzan and Jane costumes. He was joking.
He makes several dumb sex jokes throughout the whole thing.
He does say, like, we got a confessional from him saying she really likes active stuff, so he wanted to make sure to do something active with her. She does thank him for planning this. She thanks him for the effort. And he's like, yeah, I couldn't find a better activity partner. He's like, this is the life like I want to live. And we get a confessional where he says he's been seeing her trying, but he's not seeing a future for them.
He saw the feelings on the wedding day, but he's not seeing the evolution of those
feelings. Yes,
she's just stuck in one place. Like there's no going forward.
Yes, and so he tells her like he sees a world where they could like last forever, and she said, "Forever is a long time."
Not David. Sorry, Alan.
You acting like
I'll
Madison.
Be Madison. Yeah. Alan, my man, my dude. Take the hint. Like it's right there in your face. Is this? She wrote on a post note like it's not gonna happen. It's stuck it to your face. You're just ignoring it. Don't ignore it. Leave. At the very least, Carla and Juan this thing. Just get through it.
Yeah,
don't pin
Alan's
your emotions
too
on
hopeful.
This. Yeah, he's
Carla and Juan are like, I can leave her single and I'm A-okay. Alan's like, no, but I have this dream girl in front of me and I want, like, in his eyes, and he's just like, I don't want to let her just slip away. So it's frustrating him. When you said if she had a sticky note on his head that says it's not gonna work, I'm like, I immediately thought he's reading it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance,
right?
But just Alan, just don't. You know, I know I'm talking to past Alan, but like, don't pin your emotions on this because there's nothing good that's gonna come of this if you put your all into this. And I think he even says so. It says as much. Like the more feeling he puts into this relationship, the worse it's gonna be if it doesn't work. Yep. And that's where we're going. As we see on Still to Come, he takes out on some cabinetry.
Yes, we did want to get one last scene from them where they're getting ready for dinner. And they're like, tonight's going to be a lot of spilling tea. And Luffy, once again, is screaming in the background because they locked Luffy in the other bedroom. But yeah, Alan has a very tumultuous Still to Come. He was up until 3:20 a.m. waiting for Madison. Ooh. And Madison's like, but I still came back.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot that. Oh my gosh. She's like, but I'm here though. I came back home.
I slept in our bed. What do you expect?
David wanted me to come back to his parents. I mean,
you know what the commute is from David's parents' house to this apartment complex? All that effort we've had to make, going back and forth. You expect me?
You know how good David's mother's breakfast is? I could have stayed and had breakfast the next morning, but I came back here to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alan, there is a scene of Alan saying he had some urges that he wanted to explore.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I said,
what is with this cast? Where did they find 8 out of 10 of these people? Because what are you talking about?
Oh, I am not, I can wait to know what that was about because I'm sure it's going to be disturbing because it's Alan after all. Woo.
But I mean, clearly they are both we are both a one for them.
Yeah. When he says, can you see this forever? And she deadpan looks at him like, forever's a long time.
Forever
Like, come
long.
on. Come on, man. You gotta know. You just gotta know.
She is giving a master class
She's
on how to avoid any type of progression in a relationship.
Yes.
Without damaging the other person's feelings. Right now, at least. I mean, Alan reaches his point clearly. But she was able to do this for a month.
Yeah. Look, all props to her. She was able to stick this thing out, get through it, and her responses are just world class. He goes, I can't wait till our kids are grown and they have their own jobs and we're able to do this all the time. Like, I can't wait for that. And she's like, oh, thanks, Alan. That's it. Thanks, Alan. Man.
She busts out laughing.
This poor
Sorry, I
poor
was
guy.
thinking about something else.
This poor guy. Yes, one club all the way. Another oneer. Another one club participant, MM and Ikechi, aka Ike. I'm gonna name him aka Yike. That's his new name. Yike.
Yike.
That's all. Let's all remember to take a deep breath now.
Everyone, collect yourselves.
Lead us in our breathing exercise.
In for 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. We're in a great place. We're in a pleasant place.
That's right.
We are not going to let anybody whose name rhymes with psych us out and take us out of this peaceful place. If I had a sound bowl, I would be playing it for you.
Where you
We're
at,
going to
Carla?
get through this together.
We are not going to rage quit the podcast as we talk about this. We're all going to get through it. We're going to keep listening. Oh, man. Okay. So, MM and Ikechi. Remember, it's our 1-year anniversary. We start off with MM has made a picnic for Ikechi, for Yike. Yike shows up with just the stankest ass attitude
I've ever seen.
You could ever have. He's got his patented orange beanie, which just, I want to burn it at this point. I'm not sure. I don't remember if he had his backpack on or not, but he, that's like his uniform now. The orange beanie and the backpack. Just, he shows up just as stank as you want to be. In confessional, MM says, I have a better understanding of what Ikechi needs now, and she just wants to keep learning from each other. He shows up. There are paint supplies there for them to paint. She's trying to give him things that he likes. You're an artist, right? You like to paint. And he sits there. He's like, charcuterie and paint. Like,
you set all this up?
You do this?
Most def. Good stuff. Yeah.
She's like, are you okay? He says, I'm just enjoying the scenery and chirp of the birds. Like, just sad as sack look on his face. She tries to open champagne. He's like, I got it. He opens the champagne. He's like, need a real man to do that. He didn't say that, but that's like the attitude came out with.
Yeah.
He says, it's a nice spread. Well put together. How did you know about this place? Obviously, the producers made him ask that. She's like, I play volleyball out this. This is like, I think they're trying to incorporate the childhood stuff, because it's not working out well. It
was a little one too many crossovers.
Yeah, for sure. She's like, I play volleyball here, so I know about this place. I'm like, okay, I don't know why we need to know about that. All right. They talk about the fact that it's been a month. He says, well, the score at halftime doesn't always reflect the final score. And she says, but you do have to be an active player in order to play the game. That was the first hit of a branch on the bear. That was the first one. They start the painting, and he guides her
It's
how
like,
to paint.
is it watercolors or oil?
This is the only time we had any excitement because he was able to take the lead. He was able to instruct her on what to do. This is the only time we saw any ounce or bit of joy. And on her part is doing what she needs to do. I think she knows that he would enjoy being like leading something. So she's like, "Oh, what do you do? How do you do this?" So he's like, he's telling her how to paint. He tells her, like, this is the stuff I like to do. Just hanging out one day at a time, celebrating the moments. She says, "So you like to celebrate each day at a time? Is that something you're actively doing?" Ooh, yikes, yeesh. So he gets so silent. He is obviously seething inside. She says, she's like, hello? Like, is it a phone call?
He's like, am I on mute?
Yeah, are you still there?
Am I on mute?
Yeah. She's like, so do you? Like, hello? He's just, I had something in my tooth. Like, what? In a confessional, he says it feels like his answers are never enough for her. It feels like she wants him to answer how she would like him to answer, and his answers are never good enough. She says this is something she would have done with him regardless of where they were. He hopes he enjoyed himself. He says he did. Now, I'll say this. The is obviously at her breaking point, right?
Yes.
The pointed questions and the way that she is kind of poking him a little bit. I see where he felt that. Because when he does the thing about celebrate the moment, she goes, "Oh, so is that what you're actively doing?" That is a little bit of an accusation.
But it's also a fair question.
Yeah, he does deserve that. It's a fair question. But I can see where he would think that is a quote unquote poking or hitting the bear. But the way that he is acting as if he's a petulant child.
Yes.
Because she is trying to get something out of him by saying, "So do you think you're an active player?" She's trying to deepen the conversation. He was trying to just say something and ended it.
Yep.
She was trying to stimulate more conversation, but he doesn't want to talk. He wants to act like a petulant little kid, which is what he was doing this whole picnic.
Yeah, he acted like somebody was holding his bestest friend for ransom unless he stuck it out this entire picnic, and he wanted to be anywhere but there. He wanted to give off the worst energy possible. He wanted to make her uncomfortable because of how he was acting there. And then he just was like, he is so insistent on like not praising her or not acknowledging any effort she's putting in, that he's just like wanted to make her not feel any appreciation on his end. And the fact that like she was trying to joke, she was trying to lighten the mood, she was trying to just enjoy this date. Like, let's just have a good time. Let's be present. Enjoy this moment. Isn't that what you want to do so bad, right? Yeah. And he just like he just wouldn't give her anything, wouldn't just actively contribute to conversation. She talking about her favorite color. She was like, she loved blue growing up because she was a tomboy, but now she likes and she's wearing all pink now or whatever. It was all these little things that she's trying to like joke and laugh and haha, look how bad mine is or whatever. Like it's supposed to be a painting date. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna step in as the instructor. I'm gonna do this, and that's it.
He just brought the darkest cloud that he could over this whole thing.
It was a dark cloud with rain walked up as he came and sat down.
he brought the bad vibes and negative vibes with him, and I think is at a point where if he says something, if he says his nonsense that he says, she's gonna call it out. Where he goes, "I just want to celebrate each day by day," and she says, "Oh, do you?"
Like, but is that are you doing that?
Because she's at the end of her rope, and that's where she's at. So she's calling him out a little bit by saying, "Are you doing that?" Because like the implication is like, "Because I don't see you doing that." So
Right,
are you
'cause
actually doing that?
because we've been talking about, I know I have since week 1, that his words are just words. He
Fluff.
says stuff because he just thinks it sounds good. I
Yeah.
clocked that episode 1, and the fact that she's now seeing it and now is like, okay, I'm not. Maybe she's seen it and just didn't want to call it out because she's keeping things pleasant. But now it's like, what's the point in not calling it out? Let me call him out and hold him accountable in the moment as he's saying this BS.
Yeah, because you walking up here with your stank attitude does not seem like you're celebrating the moments to me. Because this is a moment, and you are acting stank as can be.
Exactly.
And I think we have all figured out, if there's one thing that Yike does not like, it's being challenged.
Yes.
It's being asked questions about what you're saying. He does not like that. That hits his ego. That hits his frail masculinity at any point
what I said
to be challenged. So that in and of itself, and the way he responded of just literally saying nothing and then be like, I had something in my tooth. It's just the most immature.
You're lying.
Yeah,
that is immaturity at its peak.
At its peak. So yeah,
instead of being like, if he doesn't like that she said that, then I don't like that you just said that to me.
Yeah, have a mature conversation. Don't because he totally shut down and then turns around and says some dumb lie that we all know was not true. It's like when he was talking to Pia, like, I'm here to be fixed. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you
here?
Like, right? Why are you being like just obviously obtuse? Like just to be a baby about it. So we leave the date, we come back to the house. When we get to their apartment, we see that they have their anniversary basket, and boy, is it tense. You can cut the tension with a knife because we see the wedding. She's like, oh, like we got our picture book, we got our wedding vows. She's like, do you want to look at this with me?
Mind you, she's sitting on the couch. He's sitting on a bar stool a few steps away, right?
Yeah.
So it's usually in that type of environment, yeah, you can talk, but I'm not showing you a TikTok from the couch to from the couch to the bar seat. So the fact that she is looking at a photo album, okay, and wants to look at it with him, and the best he can do is turn his eyes the direction of the photo booth or photo album. That's the best he can do.
It turns into like story time when you're like in kindergarten and you're like, you have the book out like away from you, you're like, okay,
yes.
See, I'm gonna turn the page. You see that? See what's going on there? And he like, obviously things would be like, if you were looking at a photo book together, you would move from your spot, come over to the couch and look together. But no, like the child he is, he stands there at the breakfast bar and just as far back as he can lean, as he's leaning back.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like, yeah, I see it. Right. And like I said, it's as if she's reading a picture book to a child. She's like, I'll turn the page. You see that? You see the nice pictures there? Oh boy. In a confessional, which obviously is not about this moment. I don't know why they put this confessional in here. He says, it's like I'm walking on eggshells around her. He says, like, we're not on the same page to make this work. They take a look at their vows. And so here's another beating of the bear. She says, so how do you feel about the vows now, since you say you don't know me?
No, that's not what she said.
What did she say?
Not what she said.
What did she say, Aysha?
She said, so how do you feel now about these vows, since you didn't know me, but now you know me a little better? No, she said, because she was like, no, she didn't say, no, I watched that part twice. I watched this whole scene twice. She did not say, since you say you don't know me. She said, how do you feel about your vows now? Basically saying, now that you know me a little bit better, but you didn't know me then.
No, because I think he's been saying to her that he doesn't know her. So I think that she's throwing that back in his face by saying, how do you feel about the vows? since you say you don't know me.
No, that's not what she said.
All right, when we get off this podcast, we're both
I'm
going.
opening it up now.
Okay,
Don't worry.
all right. Oh, okay. Listen, we could pause the podcast and come back when we both viewed it.
Look, oh, that is definitely.
All right, while you're looking for that, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
So when you take a look at the vows, he's.
Oh. Go ahead.
Did you find it?
No, not yet.
All right. She asked him about the vows. He says, I meant what I said when I wrote these vows. When I said it. She says, did you mean them about me? He says, I said what I said. She says, well, that doesn't answer my question. He says, I wasn't trying to answer your question. Oh no.
And so that's a problem, because why aren't you trying to answer the question? I asked you a question. Why are you avoiding it?
Man, he says, when I answer your questions, it's never good enough. He says, when I answer sincerely and you flip it around and want more, it's like you put a stick in your hand and you hit the bear with it. And if you keep doing that, you will see less and less of me. And if that's what you want, I can give you these vows back, and now that's what you can have. I gasped. My jaw was on the ground. And that wasn't even the worst of it.
Yeah.
He says, and when I read your vows, it does not say that you will be an asshole. And you can keep hitting the bear. My vows are silent. I wrote them. I was sincere about them. I had done nothing but make sure you were okay and respect you and make sure that you were good. So don't come and be about my answers. Those are the answers I felt in the moment. and like, for you to say, I've done nothing but respect you in the same breath and sentence as calling her an asshole. What are you doing? Where are we at? Do you see yourself? And all she says is, I respect that. Like, that's all she can muster,
because it's like the audacity of this man to just like the disrespect was on such another level that it's like I couldn't even fathom what would make him think that that's okay. I don't care if there's no chemistry, there's no future for y'all at all. Why have you reached the point of calling her that when it's clear she's still trying in this marriage? If you see it's not going to work out, y'all aren't meant to be, then that's that. Why do you have to stoop to this level?
To really lash out like that. Like, that was a lashing out, because there was nothing respectful. There was nothing positive about the interaction at all.
His vows were solid. Get out of here.
Boy, if you don't. He literally gets up, he walks over to the door, he grabs a little backpack with whatever he got in it, and just leaves out the door. Done. And she just sits there. She gets up, she goes to the bathroom, and we can hear her crying because she has her mic on, and it is just like, it is so sad. It's just so sad.
I know. I feel for her, because she, like, obviously this is an indication of how much she's having to keep it together when these moments happen, or as she's processing this relationship, that it's like really weighing on her, because it's like she is staying strong for herself, right? She doesn't want to come off as like crying in front of him or crying in front of her friends or crying in front of the other wives. It's like he is intentionally trying to break her down.
And I also think she's trying to keep her composure so that she doesn't do what she will do later. She's trying to keep it cute. She's trying to keep it calm. And he wants a reaction.
He does.
She's trying not to give it to him.
Yeah.
She's held out so long.
I did find it. So she said, how do you feel about these vows now that you still don't know me, but kind of sort of know me?
I feel like that was kind of a dig. That was a little bit of a dig when he keeps saying, like, I don't know you. I don't know you. I feel like that was a little bit of a dig.
I feel like a dig is, I don't know. I don't see it in that context. I feel like it's, hey, yes, I'm using the words that you're telling me, but also I'm applying it to, okay, how do you feel about your vows now that, and he proceeded to go through them and think that that was a proper response to her question. But I don't know. I just
I'd be
felt
curious.
I didn't feel like this was like below the belt type of comment.
Well, listen, this is what we have a Facebook group for. I would love to hear the interpretations of what other people thought about this moment. Because we have two different opinions. I would love to hear what everyone else thought. But yeah, so that was a crazy scene. We got out of there. This is the part where we got the
Yes.
we get a diary cam, and she's in bed, obviously get ready to go to sleep. She says that she has called and texted him, and he has not shown back up to the apartment since he left. This is like 2 days ago. She has no idea if he's coming back or even wants to talk to her, but they need to have a conversation. And she says, "I'm here. I'm ready whenever he is to come to talk about this." So we then get to the group dinner. This season, I don't know if they're scared from season 17 about the cast being so close.
Yeah.
But it seems like they have made a concerted effort to not keep them as close as they sometimes do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're saying they're not as updated as they usually
not as
are.
Updated. They are not. We haven't gotten as many group scenes of like all girls or all boys.
Yeah, just constantly
as you usually do. Yeah, and there's a comment made by Thomas later where like he says, "David, it's been too long since I've seen you," or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So that tells me like they're not getting together as often as like some cast have.
Mm-hmm.
And after the whole group conspiracy last season, I can see them being like, "Yeah, let's keep apart if we can." Like, probably for the best. Let's limit the amount of group outings we have this season. So we're getting ready for the group dinner. Everyone's getting their best ready. We hear from Michelle that David could not get off from work to attend the group dinner, but he did send flowers to her to celebrate their 1 month and to apologize for not being able to be there.
Such a nice guy.
Nice guy, right?
You would think that at all.
You would think you'd be appreciative, but she's just like, that was nice.
David did send me flowers, so that was a nice gesture.
I guess a point to him in this battle.
She doesn't even smile. Like, she doesn't even see how she's coming across. And I wonder now that she's watching it back if she sees like, dang, I really couldn't stand that man. Because it's like, she's not even trying to fake it. Like, she's saying the words, but there's no smile. There's no kindness, nothing on her face. Because she was like later, which obviously we'll get into, but she's like, oh, David did decide to come on his break, so that was a lot. That was really nice of him because I know that was a lot to do.
and it's so interesting that we got the wedding video to remind us how bright she was at one point. She
does know how to smile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we haven't heard that annoying laugh in quite some time. Alan and Madison are also getting ready, and they tell us they're ready for the tea to be spilled. We do hear again from MM as she's getting ready for the dinner. She tells us Ike did stop by while she was on a work call. He literally grabbed some shoes, said hello, and just left again. She says this is not how she expected to celebrate her 1 month wedding anniversary. So we're getting on the party bus. This season really loves themselves a party bus to take everyone to dinner. Everyone is there except for Ikechi and David. We have a group cheers to David, and literally Alan's like, and that's all. So already there's some bad feelings about Yike. I don't know if this was taken after we find out information or where this was in the actual sequence of things, but Alan's like, let's cheers to David, everyone. They can't be here. And that's the only person we're cheering to that's not here. Literally. So MM now, she is just going to throw everything out on the table. She tells the whole group.
That's what makes me question how much is known at this point, because I could see Alan being caught up through through Madison, because Madison's going to use anything to talk about that she doesn't have to talk about, like getting to know Alan, right? So if she is aware of some of the things going on with MM and Ikechi, then Alan may be aware, and that may have impacted his feelings on Ikechi. But there was one thing that MM said to Camille. She was like, "Oh, you didn't know this part."
Yes. Yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay."
So it could be some texting or calling back and forth. Yeah.
Yes.
So MM basically tells the whole group about her and Ikechi's journey so far. She tells them all about the aggressiveness, all about the Pia visit. She gives them everything. If you didn't know what was going on with MM and Ikechi, MM gives an explainer. Okay, she gives a retelling of their whole relationship. She says, she's been calling, she's been texting, she's got no response. She tells everyone, like, and listen, he called me an a-hole on our anniversary and stormed out, which seems to be new information to everybody. Juan, you need to shut the F up a lot, because
there was never a circumstance that Juan spoke up that he needed to speak up.
No, never. He starts in, he's like, is there any return from this? She says she doesn't know. He won't talk to her, refuses to talk to her. Juan's like, well, there's just got to be something deeper going on in his life that he has to figure out to have a relationship. Like, thank you, Juan. Thank you.
Juan might as well have said, look, every time I speak, I'm going to be trying to play devil's advocate.
Bruh.
And I've said plenty of times on this podcast, the devil don't need no advocate.
Yeah, right.
So please just hush.
MM says he's called me aggressive. He didn't like the way I touched him. And she tells the whole, like, listen, all y'all, he's the one that put my hand on his privates at the honeymoon. And Madison comes out with so for you it wasn't a big deal, or was it not a big deal? Like, Madison even says later that she's been hanging out with Alan too long, that his jokes are like rubbing off.
Yes.
So she continues talking about the Pia visit, how that really confused her, and pretty much gives a pretty accurate retelling from what we've seen. Madison is like, I don't know what his deal is, I don't know what his angle is, but what he's got going on is going to come out. It doesn't matter if he's trying to run from the cameras or whatever. Is what he's trying to do is going to come out, which is like, does everyone know he's here to promote a book? Like, is that what we're all talking about by not talking about it?
He's probably already tried to sell it to them.
Probably. And then MM's like, well, y'all know this is the second time doing the show, right? This is the second time he applied for the show. She is just putting it all out on Front Street. She's giving all the tea. I mean, serves Ikechi right for not being there to defend himself. He should have been there if you want to speak up. Camille says, whatever his issue is, we've all had to lay ourselves bare here and talk about our feelings and our issues, but he just keeps deflecting and talking about what MM's problem is. And she's like, Camille says, I don't know what his deal is or why he's playing around so much. This is the first part of Camille getting her like feathers ruffled about Ikechi. We'll see as the night goes on about how Camille feels. We sit down for dinner. This is kind of where like Camille shares the good news. Like, she says, well, I'm basically like, I know all y'all are struggling, but me and Thomas, we good. Like we're actually over here.
I know there's a lot of discussion and happening, a lot of tears, a lot of upset people, but me and Thomas are great.
But over here, we good. I don't know what y'all's problem is, but we doing great. And Michelle will come out of nowhere and be like, so have y'all had sex? And everyone's just like clutching pearls, like, how dare you ask
Michelle,
that?
how could you ask?
And Camille's like, well, actually, we did. And they just get this uproarious applause, like, oh my, with this group, everyone's just like, oh my
You're
God.
Like, what? You did that?
Yeah. Then Pastor Cal comes out with a cake. He's got like 10 candles on it, like, you did it. Like, Pastor Cal's probably so happy.
You did it. You did it.
You did
we all wanted you to do it, and you did it.
That's from TikTok, I'm assuming, or something.
No, I just made it up.
Oh my God. Musical genius over here. In confessional, Michelle, trying to look not jealous, but she obviously is, says, I'm so happy for them. I just want to know if it was good or not. Alan's like, listen, I've been trying to work it out over here, but it ain't working. He's like, all I got was a kiss on the cheek. And Madison's just like, we're not all like in the same physical space. So like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, be happy with what you got, basically. Like, you lucky you got a cheek kiss. And Thomas is just like, yeah, I'm surprised, that I'm the more emotional one. He's like, I saved myself for the right time. It's like, Thomas, he's so funny. Alan, Alan's just like, in one of the rare genuine moments from Alan, he's like, we could see y'all's relationship and how organic it's been from the start. Like, so this totally makes sense. We can see how you all are improving week after week. So it's really great to see you guys at this point, this level. Camille says, it took a lot for us to work through some things, and we had to both be open. But Tom has been a really great partner in being able to let me do that with him. So that's great. We love that. We ask about Juan and Carla, and Juan and Carla's like, yeah, we've been chilling. We've been fine. Literally, it's like we've been chilling.
Yeah, things are great. Yeah, we're just still figuring each other out. We're working through it.
Camille's like, is there any romance? Wants to know. We're trying to get there.
We're trying.
Well, in the middle of this, Ikechi shows up. Everyone is dead silent. Everyone's like, ooh, the bad vibe walked in the room. Like, literally, that's just what it is. Like, the negative vibes just walked into the room.
Dark cloud.
Yes. And he has that same steak attitude he's been walking around with for quite a while. He sits down. Michelle's like, hey, so what's been going on? What have you been doing? He says, I've just been chilling. That's all I've been doing. Alan's like, Alan
said, I came here to fight today.
Right, let's get it on, baby.
Relationship, but I have some things to say.
Let's get it on. Alan gets a gold star for me for this whole dinner, because Alan immediately calls him out. He's like, so was that a good enough reason for you to miss half the dinner or what? And Ikechi gives the look to Al. He's like, yeah, it was. Like, oh boy. Literally, it's like he looks at him like, how dare you like question me? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, it was. It's it gets tense immediately.
Yeah.
And Camille was just like, so like, Ike, let me just ask you. She says, what's really good? He's like, everything's fine. She's like, no, what's really good? What's really good? He says, there's no peace in my home. It's like, so I'm just trying to be peaceful here. Camille does mention, like, before that, Camille's just like, yeah, we've just been talking, spilling the beans. I literally wrote down, I said, Ike's beans are all over the floor.
Right.
Ike's beans are everywhere.
I'm surprised he didn't realize he was stepping on them as he walked in.
Yeah. You hear that squish under your feet? Right. Those are your beans that are being spilled on the floor. Everyone knows your stuff. David, the way that David showed up and the difference from when Ike showed up and David showed up were night and day. Because David showed up, yay, David's here.
Yes, I'm so excited to see you. But then Ike showed up there. Everybody's looking at him like
it's like a funeral.
Yeah.
Ike's a dead person. Like, it's dead quiet. But David shows up. We were just uproarious. He goes around, kisses everybody. He lets them know. Yeah, he stepped out. On a break from work. He has to go back soon, but he wanted to see everybody, so he took a break real quick. And Michelle, in confessional, says she really appreciates him doing that. He works pretty far away, and it's really great that he was able to do that. So the talking resumes. And MM is giving the death stare to Ikechi, literally.
Yeah.
And this is where Camille asks. She asks, Ike. She says, "What's really, really good?" Ike says, "I have no peace in my home, so I'm taking peace in the moment." Bro, come on.
There's no peace for you. I was surprised Alan said there's no peace for you here either.
There will be no peace here, my brother.
My brother.
He says he is enjoying the moment of peace, and he does not want to talk about married life with them. Do you not know what this?
Yeah, at first it's, I can't wait to get away from y'all. to get to have some alone time with my wife. I can't wait to get out. I can't wait for us to be done with this so I can go be with her. Like, no, no offense. And now I don't want to talk about my marriage with y'all.
Right.
He is constantly trying to make it seem like he's better than this group. He's I can't, I'm not, whatever the group is doing, I'm not doing.
I'm here to celebrate y'all.
Yeah.
So and Michelle, who we don't like Michelle, but Michelle came to play in this dinner. Okay, Michelle's like, so why did you show up here then? If you don't want to talk about your marriage, that's what we're all here for. Like, ooh, and Ike's so petulant themselves like, well, I can leave if you want me to, and they're all like, no, don't.
Like, can you chill out?
Like this, like that's not what we want. We don't want to get hostile because Ike is getting hostile.
Like, you are a child.
A childish child. He tells them again, look, I'm here to celebrate y'all. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to talk about anything else. I'm not here to talk about my marriage. I'm here to talk about y'all. He said, because Alan says, oh, you don't want to celebrate your honeymoon with your wife? He's like, there's nothing to celebrate.
There's nothing to celebrate.
Alan says, well, that's a little insulting. And Aysha says, well, she treats me like S-word. Alan asks, so like, in what way are you talking about?
Child.
He's a child. And Thomas is like, Thomas probably says like, so what is going on? Like, what is happening here? Ike says, I'm just in a space where I have no peace. Have you ever been in that space where you have no peace? That's where I am now. Oh, brother. So yeah, Juan's like, well, listen, I mean, none of us have complete peace. We're all just trying to get to know each other in a marriage with someone we just met. Like, look at Carla. I don't like her, but I'm still here. Like, it's basically what he's saying.
Basically.
Aysha says it's not going to get solved here. Alan tries to go deeper to it. He literally interrupts Alan. He says, listen, I said I don't want to talk about it. Oh.
It's like, Alan, put it out.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Like, literally just like, basically just put his hand in his face. Like, you need to stop. I ain't trying to talk about this.
Yeah.
David's trying to keep the peace. He's like, listen, this is an Akechi and MM situation. Like, I think it's best if we let them talk about it. Like, no, David, sorry, but you weren't on the bus. You didn't hear what we all heard.
Yeah.
This man has things to answer for, and that's what we're here for. So respectfully, David, can it with all the peace stuff. We don't want that. We
love you, David, but
yeah, not in time for it. Juan is just like, oh my, come on, guys, let's just try to be positive. He's like, nothing about this is easy. And Em says, listen, I've tried to be positive. I've tried to look on the bright side, but this man has called me an asshole. So I don't have much more to give. She says, I have called, I have texted, and he has not responded. Juan keeps trying to cut. She's like, no, Juan.
Right.
Listen to me.
Juan's
Listen.
Like, but
no.
What if he's a good guy?
Cut it, Juan. and she says, and she talks over Juan. She says, and then he shows up in his Joker ass suit. She says, you are just wild for just showing up here in this Joker ass suit. She again says she's called him for 2 days. He says, no, you haven't. But actually before this, she says
that's probably the first thing he said to her.
What? Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Well, no, when she said she called him for 2 days, he said that was after I called you an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't beep the asshole part out. Like it slipped in. I heard it. He was like, that's after I called you an asshole. And then she said it again. And then he said that no, you didn't. And she yells at him. She's like, she calls him a liar. She's getting up there. Carla sees this. She's like, all right, let's go. let's get up and go to the bathroom.
Actually, you're about to go to the girls' room.
Yeah, totally
unrelated
to this. All 5 women gotta go to the bathroom. Right. So we're trying
it's funny how in sync we are.
We're trying to spirit away before it gets any more heated. And as she's going on her way to the bathroom, we get the famous line, you bring me a clown, you're going to get a circus.
Yeah.
In rankings of down for you, Carla is the most down for because she's the one that got her out of there. Camille, who almost jogged to the bathroom trying to catch up. is second
Camille
most
could
down.
have flew over the table.
Yeah. And then Michelle and Madison are bringing up the rear. Okay.
Like, yeah, because it's kind of like,
They're the last to get up. They're like, okay, I guess
yes.
we're doing this.
Like, I guess we
gotta-
do have to get, Michelle
I
has no
guess I
reason
gotta
to,
go.
yeah.
I guess I gotta go, I guess. As soon as she's Akechi is
someone should have stayed to be the spy with the boys.
for real. Akechi's like, see what I mean? See what I mean? That's why I didn't want to talk about it. Akechi, this is the only reason
You
showed up here.
drove her to this.
This is the only reason he showed up to get this reaction.
Yes.
To say this, to say, see, this is what I'm talking about. That's the only reason he showed up here.
Doggone well, she hasn't done any of that.
No.
This was her breaking point.
Yes.
And you drove her to that. And then once she did it, you're like, oh, look, you see what I'm dealing with?
Yep. The ladies are in the bathroom. They're all talking crap about Akechi. Carla says, yes, but let's focus on MM. She tells MM, no man is worth taking you out of your class. Let's keep it cool. Let's keep it calm. Michelle says, let us fight this battle for you. You're too close to it. We'll get his ass. Like, we'll get him. MM says, I came here for a marriage, not the show, nothing else. I came here for the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Akechi back out on the dinner, apologizes to Alan for coming at him. That right there just shows you where Akechi is and how he looks at and treats women.
Yeah. Zero respect.
Because he is super quick to apologize to Alan, another dude, but has never apologized to MM for anything, because I'm sure he doesn't think he's done anything wrong, first of all, but can never bring himself to apologize to MM for anything, but is quick to apologize to Alan. So that right there tells you something.
Yep. Tells you a lot.
Yeah. He again says, I'm here to celebrate the rest of y'all. Camille tells the other girls, as they're going back out to dinner, she's like, Camille says, I'm gonna let y'all handle that. Because baby, like when you hear the baby, Camille's about to pop off. Okay.
She was ready to go.
So as soon as the ladies get back, as soon as Ike gets up and just leaves.
He said, all right, y'all.
Yeah, see ya. Carla says, ciao, ciao. Like, bye. Bye, B.
Like, did he think she wasn't going to come back? Like, why did he wait until she came back?
I don't know. He wanted to get his spiel out there to the rest of the guys. Like, he wanted to get that, see, this is what I'm talking about. She does this all the time.
Ugh.
MM throws a quick bozo at him as he's leaving. She's a bozo.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. In confessional, Madison calls it out. Madison says Ike is a con artist. She says, it's hard to do this, but the rest of us are communicating, being open, working through things. I said, really? I feel like you're a con artist yourself, so maybe you see your fellow con artists at work. David tells MM he doesn't like how he talked to her, and it was like, that's how he talks to me. That's what he says to me in private. We then see a producer catching up with Ikechi, on the way out of the restaurant. She's like, are you leaving? He's like, yeah. He's like, you want me to sit next to that?
That. When he said, you already know that he has zero respect for her, and the way he's treating her just shows this, like, this is his general respect for women, like, or lack thereof. When he said, you want me to sit next to that?
Yikes.
Like, the way that Camille said it, she said he's supposed to be so pro-black, and this is how he's coming at a black woman.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, which she's gonna say in a second. It's just like that had me so heated.
Yeah.
Like, you are so just like, you insist on tearing her down so much that you are now referring to her as a thing.
Yep.
And it's just like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? Like, clearly marriage is the last thing you need to be worried about right now, because there's so much going on with you that it's just so frustrating, because like, she's the recipient and she's gonna have to like now heal from this situation.
Yep. Because
he has decided to just like release his demons on her.
Yeah, and he tells the producer, "Listen, I don't have the capacity for this immaturity. I don't have the time. I don't have to have the time to play with kids. This is all some kid shit." He says, she wants what she wants when she wants it, and I'm not the person to give it to her. He says, "I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I am someone's Hennessy and Coke." I said, "Where did you get that corny
surprised
ass
the producer
line?
did not bust out laughing at him.
Hey, where did you get that corny line from?
His book.
That's in some joke book. That's in some like corny joke book somewhere. Ugh, gross. Juan, please shut up, Juan. Juan says, "Well, if you want to function as a friendship," and then says, "No, there's no friendship. He's called me aggressive."
And someone said, "No, friends don't talk to each other like that."
Like I think Carla was checking Juan. She's like, "No, friends don't say that about each other."
Yes.
Says he's called me aggressive. He's called me predatory. He says I'm an asshole. Juan's like, "Well, it just seems like you guys really pointing the finger at each other." I literally typed my notes in capitals. I said, "Shut up, Juan."
Right.
Says, "What?" MM's like, "What are you talking about? I have never called him anything out of his name. You've never heard me say anything bad about him. I've just said things he said to me." She says, "So I'm not pointing fingers. He has made several inflammatory statements about me, and she has no idea where it's coming from him." Outside case, she says, he says, "When I told her I didn't want to have sex with her, everything changed. She was all over me, and I didn't want her to be." He says, at the altar, I couldn't even ask if I could kiss her. She just came and kissed me, stuck her tongue down my throat.
That's when I knew that the claims that he had with Dr. Pia could have been exaggerated, because we watched that moment.
You're right. And she did not stick her tongue down. I was like, yes, we commented at the time that she was all about it. She was all about it. She met him more than halfway for that kiss.
Yes.
We mentioned that at the time. He says, "I told her I don't know her enough to have sex with her. And, I told her she was aggressive and I didn't want it. And then she had a problem with me." Gets emotional at the dinner table. Camille comes over to comfort her. Outside, he says, outside at EK, she says, "I am okay with walking away." He says, "Divorce is on the table, so that's fine." Camille takes back to the bathroom. This is where she says, "He's supposed to be this woke black man calling a black woman aggressive. He should know way better than that." And says he knows what he was doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wanted to look like that stereotypical angry black woman that is prevalent in culture. But the thing is, he pushed her to that limit.
He did.
Knowing he did. He was probably upset that he didn't get it when they were at the apartment. He was talking about hitting the bear with the thing. He was probably bummed that she just sat there and took it and did not get flagrant and mad and yelling at him. And that's why he just got up and left. He's like, "Damn, like I didn't get what I want." He came to this dinner to do exactly what he did, was to push her over the edge.
Yep.
And it's so terrible.
He's like,
so
this is it's exactly how he drew it up.
Yeah,
basically.
Totally. Because he did his job and he was like, "Oh, my job's done here. I can leave now." Oh man, it gets hot. Like she said, and and I love in this moment. She says he thought he was going to get some uneducated woman.
Yep.
He could pull the wool over her eyes. She says, "But I'm a master's educated woman, a woman who owns her own business. They didn't bring you no dummy."
Yep.
So he started to tear me down any way he could see fit. She says, "If it's a war you want, then let's go, Joker." I say, yeah, love it. Camille says he's gonna look back at this and kick himself in the ass, and knowing that he's gonna look like a clown. Unfortunately, I disagree with Camille, because I think this is ingrained in him, and I think he's never going to regret this. He's going to go the rest of his life thinking he did the right thing here, thinking he did the best thing for him, or whatever bullcrap he's going to say.
Yep.
David has to go. He has to go back to work. He gives everyone hugs and kisses. In this moment, he gets up. He walks one way. The camera pans, and Carla and Madison are like hugged up on each other. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, what is going on over here? Like,
I didn't know.
It was just weird. I just need to call that out because this is like an odd moment. But Ike comes back to the apartment, packs his stuff up, and leaves. In a confessional, he says, you could have taken this confessional and given it to MM. It would have made a bunch of sense. But in case you're saying these things, he says, I can't be around someone that feels like I'm smaller than them and trying
He's
to belittle
projecting.
and insult me. He says, I can take a lot, but it's not necessary for me to take this and this attitude and the way she's treating me. I don't want to be married to someone that thinks I'm shit. I deserve peace. He puts his stuff in the cab and he leaves. We're in the party bus on the way back from dinner. They all talk about how tough that was a tough moment. Talk about how Ike came in with bad energy, with a chip on her shoulder. And, Michelle's saying this. She's like, and we only got a sliver of what you have. So I can only imagine what you are going through.
I just went and looked at that moment you said because I wanted to see if there was further evidence for David and Madison.
Mhm.
And yeah, they showed David like giving them a hug, and then they panned to Michelle
Right.
like to show her reaction.
Juan, stop it, Juan. Juan says, there's more work to be done here with him. Alan's like, well, but you got to be open to it and admit you're at fault to actually even do any work. Like, yeah, Juan, shut up. In a confessional, MM says she doesn't know what Ikechi's motives were, but he does these things to get emotional responses out of people. It just felt like the big FU. MM goes to the apartment. She sees his stuff is gone. She says, their vows were about commitment, but Ike is not willing to do the work. He has taken every opportunity there is to run. And it's just hurtful for him to treat her this way. She comments, he did leave his air fryer. I take the air fryer and just chuck it off the balcony.
Right.
It's like,
I don't need
done.
no reminder.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's in her confessional. She's getting emotional. This is one of those confessionals that are taped way afterwards. So she's still like really emotional about it, even way afterwards. And then we get her going to bed and we just hear her crying in her bed. I'm just like, no, man, don't cry over this man. This is a good thing that he's gone. Like, don't.
I know it. And you know what it's less about crying over him, more about crying over what she thought could be from a marriage.
It's a wasted opportunity for her that this is the man that she got. This is the person she got. I'm not even gonna call him man. This is the dude that she got.
Yeah.
It's a wasted opportunity because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, unless you're Mark the Shark.
Right.
Or Ikechi.
Or Ikechi.
Right.
Yeah.
This could be a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it feels like an utter waste. So yeah, we leave the episode on that moment of her crying in bed. I'm just like, oh, this is a downer of an ending.
Yeah.
In the still to come, we get Ikechi talking to Pastor Cal. He tells Pastor Cal, listen, if you act like an asshole, I'm gonna call you an asshole. To Pastor Cal.
To Pastor Cal's face. He is standing 10 toes down on what he said about MM.
Yep.
He has zero regrets. He doesn't care who he's talking to, who he's talking about. It's just ridiculous.
I really just wonder, because we've talked a lot about the fact that Ikechi's probably coming here for a promotion. He's coming on here for his book or whatever. Is this the plan you had? Because this is not a good look. How do you think this is a good look for you? How do you think this is what you should be doing? How do you think you are righteous in this? And I feel like he thinks he's righteous in this.
He does. He said when he was going through his vows saying that they were so solid, and he's going to be able to support anything he thinks. He's going to be able to justify it.
Delusional to the highest degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I mean, and listen, and I think we see enough evidence to welcome Ikechi
to the worst husband,
into the top 10 worst husbands club.
Easily.
You're knocking on that top 5, my man. You really are.
Yeah.
After the season said and done, we'll have to reevaluate. You might make it in that top 5.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about it. Facebook group, if you want to weigh in on this.
Yeah, let's do top 5.
I always love a good bad spouse ranking. Love those. But I think it's safe to say he's definitely in the top 10.
Yes.
We've already seen enough evidence to put him
easily,
in the top 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Ikechi and MM. I just
easily they're both ones, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Or not both ones. This couple is a one from both of us.
100%. What do we think is the trajectory here? Because we did see a couple of scenes with them talking together, so they are going to see each other again.
I think it's just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think they just
getting
need
this
them to
over and
talk one more
done.
time to reconcile. It's not going to be, there's no reconciliation here. I think
Mhm.
we'll get them talking again, you know, like 1 or 2 times, and then the reunion
Yeah.
or the where are they now?
I'm trying to think back to, because we saw a bunch of decision day moments. Definitely saw Thomas and Camille, I think. Definitely saw Juan and Carla, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
don't know if
don't
we saw
remember
the other
seeing
three.
Madison and Alan or
Yeah.
David. Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah. So that just leads us to more speculation about what's
Yeah.
going to happen. So yeah, listen, that was the episode, and what an episode it was. We always say
Fireworks.
episode 10s don't disappoint, and this
They
one did not.
consistently.
Yeah.
That's another off-season podcast that we won't record, but that top episode 10s because
Yes.
I mean, something has to be said for this midpoint of the season. And we know there are like way more than 20 episodes. But episode 10 is a banger. I mean, obviously, episode 10 of season 13, the Houston season, stands out.
Do you think this is the worst 1 month anniversary you've ever had? Or
Right. Yeah,
like just
it's up there.
so many couples just in the crapper.
Yeah.
So bad. And I think about Michelle and David and Ike and MM was just like really bad interactions in those couples. But yeah, that's interesting to think about. But yes, that was our episode, and yeah, it was quite the episode.
It really was. So thank y'all for sticking with us. Make sure you go leave us a 5-star rating and review. We're trying to get 20 more ratings than we have now. So go leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a review. We'll shout you out on the podcast.
Yep.
And then go join our Facebook group, A Perfect Match Podcast. The Facebook password this week is
Send in
the
the
clowns.
If you heard that song, let us know.
I
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, please. Jason, where can people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at JR33D. Honestly, I don't do much social mediaing these days, so you can find me if you want. You're not gonna get much.
Yeah.
You can also hear me on my podcast called The Good Pod with me and Marissa Garza, where we talk about the show The Good Wife. It's a rewatch podcast. We also talk about the show Elsbeth, which is in that same universe. And upcoming, me and Marissa decided to talk about one of our other favorite shows, Cobra Kai, the recent drop that just happened a little bit ago. So if that tickles your fancy, come over for that as well on The Good Pod.
Awesome. Yeah, well, y'all can find me on all social media at Aysha like Asia. I would say the one I'm most active on is Instagram. So if you want to see good content or I guess any content from me, good or bad, I would say good.
It's all good, Asia.
It's all good. Yeah, okay.
There's enough Pepper Cinema content on there to call it good.
There's a lot. So give me a follow on Instagram. And if you're looking for a gift, or you're looking for or you want to hear something, I'm on Cameo. So go find me on Cameo and
make her say nice things about me. I think that's a good Cameo.
That would be difficult. No. The hardest one yet.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh, but thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We will be back next week to talk about episode 11 for real this time. Not last time.
This is another break. This is another break they haven't told us about.
They're on a 3-week hiatus that we had no clue about. But we will be back the next time there's an episode to talk about episode 11. So thank y'all so much for sticking with us, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.